Once upon a time, there was a boy named Santiago. He lived in Andalusia, Spain. One day, he was sleeping under a tree and dreaming about a merchant's daughter who he had met a year ago. He wanted to meet her again because he really liked her.
Santiago's parents wanted him to become a priest, but he became a shepherd instead. The following day, he traveled to Tarifa, where he met a gypsy who interpreted his dreams of Egypt and the pyramids. The gypsy told him to go to Egypt.
Later that day, he met an old man who turned out to be a king. The king explained to him the importance of a personal legend and told the boy his personal legend for the price of 2 sheep. Then he gave him Urim and Thummim.
Santiago sold all of his ships except for 2 ships, which he gave to the king. Then he took a boat to Tangier, Africa. When Santiago got there, he met a random stranger who tricked Santiago into giving the stranger all of his money.
He worked for a crystal merchant to make money for a trip back to Andalusia. He came up with the idea of selling tea in crystal cups on top of a hill. The merchant told him of his dream to go to Mecca for his pilgrimage, through which he would never go. Santiago left the merchant after a year to see if he could find a trip across the desert. He met an Englishman while waiting for the caravan leader to see if he could get a trip across the desert. On the way to the oasis, Santiago talks to the Englishman about omens. They also talked about Urim and Thummim. They talked about the science of alchemy and the Englishman's goal to become an alchemist. He explains that alchemists have the power to turn lead into gold. When they arrive at the oasis, the Englishman and Santiago go in search for the alchemist. They could not find the alchemist. Their efforts were useless. The following day, Santiago meets Fatima. It was love at first sight.
I said, are you gonna be my girl?
At night, Santiago saw 2 hawks fighting each other and had a vision of seeing an army armed with guns heading towards the oasis. He told the chieftain of the oasis that they were in danger and should be ready to defend themselves. The oasis get attacked and they win the battle. The next day, Santiago leaves with the alchemist to go to the pyramids.
On the way there, they are stopped by a tribe who takes them prisoner. The alchemist tells the chieftain of that tribe that Santiago is an alchemist. The alchemist says that Santiago can turn into the wind after 3 days of preparation. The chieftain tells him he will let them go if he does this. On the 3rd day, Santiago talks to the wind. The wind does not know how to turn Santiago into the wind, but is curious to see how. He suggests, talk to the sun. Santiago asks the sun how to turn into the wind, and the sun does not know, so he suggests talking to God. Santiago talks to God, and God tells him he can turn into the wind. After turning into the wind, the alchemist and Santiago leave the tribal camp. On the way to the pyramids, the alchemist and Santiago stop by the monastery. The alchemist shows Santiago how to turn lead into gold using the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life. He splits the gold into 4 pieces, one for the monk in his monastery, and another piece to the monastery just in case. He gives Santiago a piece and keeps the last piece for himself. Santiago then heads to the pyramids and begins digging for treasure. He is stopped by refugees from the tribal wars, and they take his money, after finding out there is no treasure. One of the refugees tells him that he too had a dream of a treasure, but the treasure was under a tree in Spain. Santiago returns to Andalusia and finds the treasure.